Is it necessary?
Ooh.
America is the greatest country ever to exist. Not even close. What country would you say is the greatest?
Define greatest. What makes a country great?
Most productive, most accepting, most generous, most benevolent.
Most accepting?
Yes. We take in half the world's immigrants every single year. How is this not accepting? What does that have to do about not being accepting?
Who are you?
My name is Charlie Kirk and I love America.
This is always what they do. Can't answer. So they go on a personal attack, like, who are you? Which means, who do you think you are?
Why are you here?
Because I love talking with people I disagree with.
What have you done for your country?
Started an organization that's now on 1,000+ campuses to save the greatest culture and country ever to exist.
Hires vets.
And hires vets.
And hires vets.
And I've had thousands of hours of conversation about these ideas.
The camera. Is it necessary?
Well, considering I've been assaulted, followed, stalked, and had things thrown at me, the greatest protection I have is cameras. It's a public space.
Very hostile and aggressive.
Okay. One second, I want to wrap this up. It's all good. But what country would you say is greater than this one?
You have to define great.
I just said, I mean, we take in half.
Your definition of great.
I mean, we are the.
You say that the United States of America has always made the greatest decision, because nobody's perfect, right?
No, I never said America was a perfect country, ever.
Okay, yeah.
Nor have we. We've made a lot of mistakes.
That any other country has done anything great?
No. That's not what I've said.
Then why do you go to that extreme?
Because from an objective analysis.
An objective analysis.
Correct. Of world history. Hello, how are you?
Yeah, exactly.
We are the most creative, the most accepting, the most benevolent, the most generous, most forward-thinking and productive country ever to exist.
For liberals, it's so hip to crap all over America while enjoying all the benefits, while they sip their Starbucks lattes and complain. If it's so horrible, then leave. But they won't, because they know it's BS. So hypocritical and so dishonest.
We are a country that sent 37,000 of our own citizens to die on the Korean Peninsula so South Korea could exist, and we asked for nothing in return. No country's ever done anything close to that. We sent a
education come from?
reading history.
Reading history.
How is that not true what I just said?
Reading what history? What kind of biased stuff?
No, but
It's incredible how uneducated she is. She obviously doesn't know basic history, but she's so smug about it. You know why? Because teachers have to pass along kids that have learned almost nothing in order to keep their jobs.
what am I saying that's untrue? Americans gave away $500 billion to charity last year, voluntarily. We take in half of the world's immigrants. Half.
Do you know how those trusts work?
No.
Do you know that only 5% of the money that you put into a nonprofit or a charity even has to be used?
So
The more that they make on interest, you realize.
So most charities and most foundations will use 90+% of the net assets they get every single year. What?
Got any facts with you? Or you're just
Yeah, you
saying
can look
this
at the
about
you can look at the IRS website. I understand what I'm saying might bother you, but we're also the most accepting, least racist, most diverse, multiracial country in the world by far. We've been in. Okay, how? Look at the United.
the most accepted.
We take in half the world's immigrants every single year.
So?
So
You think other countries do other? Why is most America in poverty?
most America's not living in poverty.
Really?
Yes,
Are
really.
you educated on that subject?
We're the richest country in the world by far. We have an American middle class, which is a uniquely
You ever
American
talk to
concept.
poor people? You ever walk down the street and seen all the homeless people?
You mean-
Excuse me, I grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood. So you want to talk to poor people, I'm talking, and we're talking to you from a perspective of people that have experienced.
You know that America's poor are actually in the richest 1% in the
How
world.
much research have you done?
A remarkable amount
The richest 1% of what?
of people in the world.
How's the richest 1%? What about the rest of us?
No, what I'm saying is that a very poor person in America is relatively extraordinarily rich by world standards. Yes.
Why would you you say that?
Because they have access to air conditioning, medical care, cable television, Wi-Fi,
Do all
transportation.
Americans have access to medical care?
90+%.
Bankruptcy?
What is Medicaid? Tell me what Medicaid
What
is.
is Medicaid?
45 million
Does
poor
everybody
Americans have access to health care through a
They
Medicaid.
reach the median level of income, but they can't afford their medical bills.
They
But
can go
can't
on
afford health
Medicaid. That's what
insurance. You know
Medicaid is
much
for.
health insurance is a month?
How many people are on Medicaid?
How many?
45 million. We have a
Okay.
safety net for poor people. It's called Medicaid.
Okay.
Run
Why
by
are so
state
many
exchanges.
homeless people living on the street with mental health problems?
In Oregon? Because
Yes,
the
well, that's
governor-
because of a Democrat governor and a Democrat mayor and a Democrat supermajority in the House and the Senate. You show me an American ghetto, I'll show you a Democrat in control.
Oh man, that's why Democrat-run cities are falling apart. Crime is running rampant because Democrats don't hold criminals accountable.
Philadelphia, Chicago, Detroit, Cleveland. The prosperous states, the states that,
So blame Democrats?
yes, there hasn't been a Democrat governor of Oregon since 1982. I mean, a Republican governor of Oregon since 1982.
Is that a great time? Is 1982 a great time for Republicans? Is that, why is it Republican Democrat? You know anything about
Because
progressives? You know
Republicans
anything
generally.
about progressives?
What about progressive? What is?
You know anything about the progressive
You mean
party?
socialists or Marxists?
Socialists? Are you gonna call me a communist next
I'll call
time?
you a Marxist.
About anything outside of your bubble?
What do you think about Karl Marx? Karl Marx.
Karl Marx.
God, she comes to argue with Charlie Kirk and she doesn't have the most basic knowledge.
Bingo. Yeah, I mean, he is the author of basically everything the progressive movement believes. Karl Marx wrote the Communist Manifesto
Communist manifesto.
Have you-
say that progressives are communists?
because the progressives argue for everything that is democratic socialism. So Bernie Sanders, who is the,
So criminal justice reform.
I believe in criminal justice reform. You and I could agree with
That's
that.
part of the progressive
Do
party.
you believe in free education?
I mean, it depends. Is it state education?
Do you believe?
Are
I mean,
are you talking about private education?
do you believe?
Where do you draw the lines? I mean, high school education is free, right?
No, it's not. You pay property taxes. It's far from free. You pay a lot more in property taxes than you'll ever get out of your local high school education. Nothing is free. Everything is paid for by somebody at some point. The most prosperous parts of the world and in this country are more center-right conservative Republican leadership. Thank you for the conversation.
Clearly, she realized she was out of her league. She had nothing left to say, walked away with her tail between her legs. She would have punched him if there were no cameras, and she could have gotten away with it. To see a woke lunatic terrorize an entire city council, click here, and I will see you over there.